Good evening, folks. This is Bill Breeden. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Tonight we're going to take a look at the Southern Celestial Hemisphere constellation Pictor, or the Easel. Pictor can basically be seen all year from locations below the equator, although it's probably best viewed between December and March. Pictor is a faint constellation, but due to its proximity to a bright star, it is surprisingly easy to find. Got Stellarium here set up for a location in near Buenos Aires with a field of view of 60 degrees, simulating a naked eye view of the sky. And I have it set up for February the 2nd of 2022 at about 9:17 p.m. with moderate light pollution. So let's try to find Pictor. I'm not real familiar with the southern sky, although I'm getting a little better at it, just navigating Stellarium. So we're facing south in Buenos Aires, and you can see the Southern Cross right here, angled in this direction, almost upside down in early February. So the long axis of the cross points us toward the South Celestial Pole, which is going to be about here. Can also use Alpha and Beta Centauri and draw a perpendicular line between them and follow that in the same direction. So that puts the Southern Celestial Pole about there. So let's look up a little higher, and let's look for the bright star Canopus. And Canopus can be found near the Large Magellanic Cloud. So if you can find those two objects, then you can find Pictor quite easily. So here's the Large Magellanic Cloud, and even from a light polluted location you can still see it. And here's Canopus, or Alpha Carina. And Pictor is going to be these stars just next to Canopus. So let's turn on our constellation lines. And you'll see here it's just drawn as this these two lines here connected. That's how it's depicted. But here's Canopus here, and the Large Magellanic Cloud is right here. Now, with this being the Southern Celestial Polar region, this whole part of the sky is going to rotate in this direction, clockwise. So Pictor will be further and further over this way as the hours march on and as the months march on. So let's demonstrate that here. Let's move up 1 month. And you'll see now the Pictor is over here. And here's the South Celestial Pole is in this region here. So everything is moving in a clockwise direction around the South Celestial Pole. Let's go another month forward. And you can see Pictor is now over here in relation to Canopus. Let's go back to February. There we go. Try not to do too much of that because it gets disorienting. But for this purpose, it was nice to show the way the sky is turning. The sky turns the opposite direction from the southern hemisphere. When you're looking at the North Star from the northern hemisphere, the sky appears to rotate counterclockwise around it. But from the southern hemisphere, looking toward the South Celestial Pole, the sky is turning clockwise around it. So a little interesting difference there. So this area here is Pictor. Here's Canopus. Here's the Large Magellanic Cloud. And let's see what these stars are within Pictor. There's Delta Pictoris, Beta Pictoris, Gamma Pictoris, and Alpha Pictoris. And it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you called it Alpha Pictor instead of Alpha Pictoris. As I've said before, sometimes I forget the genitive version of constellation names. So I'll just end up calling it Alpha Pictor. but technically it's Alpha Pictoris. Okay, there's not a whole lot in Pictor, so let's take a look at this region of the sky from a dark site. And here's the Large Magellanic Cloud, and here is Canopus here. So Pictor is right here. It's these stars right here. Now let's have a look at how it's depicted with the mythical figures. And here it is. That looks like it's called the Easel. So the long axis is one of the legs holding it up, and then the short axis is actually the easel itself, or the canvas, the part that holds your painting. I love how these southern constellations are named after objects rather than animals in a lot of cases. So let's take a look at the constellation boundaries. And you can see the easel itself is right here, but the boundaries of Pictor actually extend way out to here. So Pictor is about the same size as its neighboring constellation Dorado, which we covered last week. Okay. There is a star that's interesting in the constellation Pictor, and that's Beta Pictoris. Beta Pictoris is surrounded by a disk of dust. So it's sort of like a prototype of our solar system before all the planets were formed. Obviously, you won't see that disk of dust through an amateur-sized telescope, but astronomers do know that it's there. See, here's the view of Beta Pictoris through a finder scope or binoculars. It's a fourth magnitude star located just 63 light years from Earth. And I believe an exoplanet has been discovered orbiting Beta, and I think it's labeled Beta Pictoris b, I believe. It's a Jupiter-sized planet located about 9 astronomical units away from Beta Pictoris. So through a 24 millimeter eyepiece, here is a simulated view of Beta Pictoris, and it has this nice little double star next to it with some contrasting color. Okay, let's see if we can find Pictor again. Here's the Large Magellanic Cloud. Here's Canopus. So Pictor is right here. And it includes a lot of this area above the easel as well. This whole area right here. So I have another double star to check out, and that's Iota Pictoris. Iota Pictoris is a magnitude 5.6 double star located 120 light years from Earth. And here's a view of that area of the sky through your finder scope. And here's a view through a 24 millimeter eyepiece. It looks like it might just be starting to split here. So let's do it manually with the software. Sometimes we have better luck that way. Yeah, that one splits nicely. Iota Pictoris would be a really good double star to observe if you're in the southern hemisphere and you have your scope with you. I know that's a lot to ask. Okay, the constellation Pictor does not include any Messier objects since Charles Messier could not see the constellation from his home in Paris. So let's use Stellarium as a star chart here real quick. So we're going to turn on our constellation boundaries and names. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it as if we're looking at a star chart. And then we're going to turn on our sky and viewing options window. And let's go to deep sky objects, turn on our labels, and let's see if anything showed up here in Pictor. There's not much there. I remember looking once before just at a star chart, a paper star chart. There's really not much there. If you look at the way this is here, you're sort of looking away from the Milky Way, the band of the Milky Way, so you're looking out into intergalactic space. So there's not going to be a whole lot of deep sky objects in Pictor. Let's turn up the sensitivity even higher and see if something shows up here. There we go. Okay. We got 2, maybe 3 galaxies here within the borders. So let's start with NGC 1705, good a place as any. There's no image of it, but we do have an icon for it. This is a 12th magnitude galaxy located 19 million light years away. And eyepiece view just shows you the field, which is fine. There's no image of it in the software. Through my telescope, 12th magnitude would be probably its limit. I have an 8-inch f10 Schmidt-Cassegrain. 12th magnitude galaxies are about my limit, and that's on a good night from a dark location. Okay, let's try this one that looks like it's right on the border here. See, that's technically across the border in the constellation Carina, even though here it looks like it's right on the border. Be interesting to see how that's mapped. Yeah, that is across the border. Oh, wow, okay. NGC 2191 is a 13th magnitude galaxy, so there's pretty much no hope of me seeing that with my telescope. Looks like a pair of galaxies here. NGC, let's see if we can get Stellarium to cooperate with me. NGC 2222 looks like a pair of interacting galaxies, NGC 2221 and NGC 2222. I've never seen a blue symbol before. I guess that's the symbol for an interacting galaxy. Just my guess. There's no image of it in the software. It's magnitude 14.2. Like I said, there's not a whole lot for amateur astronomers to look for in Pictor. But I'm still fascinated with star charts and the hunt. There's something about the hunt that I enjoy. Okay, let's take Stellarium out of star chart mode. And now we're back to planetarium mode. All right, I have nothing else on my list. So this concludes my tour of Pictor. Thank you for joining me. Good night. And as always, good seeing.